Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping our news today at noon, 911 outages are affecting agencies across the Suncoast and into the Tampa Bay area. Those outages began overnight, but happened again this morning, providing a challenge for both residents needing help and emergency responders who want to help them. ABC 7's Marla Spence joins us live from the Sarasota County Emergency Operations Center with more. Marla?
Yes, Scott, right now staff are inside of this emergency operations center right behind me, and this is where they're having a meeting about that widespread 911 outage. Just when 7 local counties thought the outage was restored, agencies here on the Suncoast as well in the Tampa Bay area are dealing with another outage within 8 hours. Now, so far we know Sarasota, Northport, and Manatee County are all facing outages. Manatee County is asking residents who need emergency assistance to text 911 on their cell phones, and other agencies are providing non-emergency phone numbers, and you can find a list of those phone numbers if you need to dial in to 911 on our website, and all the list of those phone numbers are right there on WWSB, also our Facebook page, WWSB ABC 7. Reporting live in Sarasota, I'm Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Marla, thank you. And again, the website here at ABC 7 is mysuncoast.com. All the numbers to be called for emergency response are on our website if you need those today. New at noon, the Atlanta Braves' arrival in Northport for spring training will be delayed for 1 year. In a press release, the Braves announcing the team will stay at the Disney World Resort through spring training of 2019 instead of a new facility going up now in the West Village's development in Northport. It means the area will lose millions of dollars in economic impact for that 2019 spring training. The delay will give crews enough time to finish construction on the new training facility and stadium in Northport. Now, Atlanta will play its final spring game of that 2019 spring training at the new 6,500-seat stadium. That'll happen in April of 2019, giving fans a taste of what's to come in 2020. The team will also move its year-round minor league operation to the new facility beginning in April of next year. We'll have much more on this developing story coming up in our evening newscasts. Well, last night, President Trump facing a tough 2018 midterm election ahead of pushing an ambitious legislative agenda, addressing Congress at his first State of the Union. ABC's Tara Palmieri has the latest on what that means for the year ahead.
President Trump ditched his tough, often divisive campaign talk. Instead, he called for unity in his State of the Union address last night.
The state of our union is strong because our people are strong.
He touted the rising stock market, the defeat of ISIS, and his $1.5 trillion infrastructure plan. Democrats sat on their hands for most of the night, a stark contrast to Republicans who seemed to clap at every phrase. Even the president at times clapped for himself. But it was President Trump's immigration plan that sparked the most outrage. On the Democratic side of the aisle, many brought dreamers as guests.
Under the current broken system, a single immigrant can bring in virtually unlimited numbers of distant relatives.
He offered to allow 1.8 million people brought into the country illegally as children a pathway to citizenship. That's in exchange for drastically scaling back immigration and a multi-billion-dollar border wall.
We've got 2 big problems. One is that up until a couple days ago, no one knew where the president was on this because he kept saying different things to different people. Now we've got a plan that he has articulated. That plan, as he knows, is a non-starter on Capitol Hill.
But for dreamers, they need a bipartisan solution now. The DACA program expires in March, when they could face deportation. The president needs Democrats to get to the 60-vote threshold to fund the government. And another deadline is coming up next week. Tara Palmieri, ABC News, Washington.
Also during the speech, President Trump defended his decision to keep Cuba's Guantanamo Bay base open. The president ordering the U.S. military prison to remain open and ready to accept enemy combatants. President Trump says the U.S. must be able to detain and question terrorists when necessary. Former President Obama tried to close that controversial facility. Here in Florida, lawmakers are looking to implement their own crackdown on immigration. The Florida Senate's bill would strictly ban sanctuary city policies and penalize counties and cities that do not comply with federal immigration authorities. But that bill is struggling now. It did not have enough votes to pass through the Senate Judiciary Committee. Meanwhile, a separate version of the bill has passed in the Florida House. Florida lawmakers are starting to tackle the issue of sexual harassment. This comes at a time when the state capitol has been under scrutiny for bad behavior. A Senate committee has now passed a bill that would create new penalties for state officials, employees, and candidates who commit sexual harassment. The House is also considering a similar bill, and both bills would create a task force to prevent sexual harassment. A mishap that happened here on the Suncoast during Hurricane Irma may prompt some statewide changes. You may remember when this happened, when the storm was approaching the state, a sign language interpreter signed gibberish during a televised briefing in Manatee County. He signed miscellaneous words about pizza and bears. Well, because of that incident, state lawmakers are now considering a bill that addresses how the state communicates with hearing impaired residents during weather emergencies. The bill would require the officials to include a qualified sign language interpreter at all televised hurricane briefings. And FEMA is ending emergency food and water operations in Puerto Rico. FEMA announced the agency's aid is no longer needed for emergency operations there. The agency citing the restoration of commercial food and water supply chain and the availability of private suppliers. FEMA has distributed more than 65 million liters of bottled water and more than 58 million meals since Hurricane Maria's landfall last fall. Did you miss the super blue blood moon this morning? This full moon was special for 3 reasons. The moon is closer to Earth in its orbit, 14% brighter than usual. This is the second full moon of the month, commonly known as a blue moon. And finally, this super blue moon passed through the Earth's shadow for a lunar eclipse, creating a reddish tint known as a blood moon. All I know is that early this morning, it looked like somebody had left the lights on outside.
It's a very bright moon. Yeah, and the weather cooperated great. You know, there was no cloud around. It was a really bright moon.
was.
And you know what? We had a little additional bonus here on the East Coast in that we saw this at dawn. So if you saw the moon under partial eclipse, we only got partial eclipse here, but under partial eclipse, you look over your shoulder and you saw the sun rising. So to see that occur at the same time, kind of a rare event as well. So that was kind of a new. We got a super blue blood dawn moon here on the Sun Coast. Nice pictures sent in from some of our viewers. Really do appreciate this. This one sent in by Mary Vasquez from Sarasota. We thank her for that. Mary, that's a great picture that you sent in. You can see a little bit of the Earth's shadow, the umbra, over the moon's top edge there. Another view of it there from Paul Han. Thank you. From the Comas. Absolutely great. It took on a little bit of that blood color, but that also was because it was very low on our horizon, and oftentimes cutting through the atmosphere like that augments the red colors of the light and kind of scatters out the bluish colors. It was a very nice start to the day. A lot of blue sky out there, and that's the same that we'll see this afternoon as well. A lot of blue sky. Not much in the way of any kind of cloud cover approaching us this afternoon, and our temperatures will probably get up to about the 70-degree mark. Right now we're around 66 here in Sarasota. No rain in our forecast today. Complete forecast for you coming up in just a few. Scott?
John, thank you. A Sarasota High School registrar is out of the job after a controversial Snapchat video surfaced of a birthday party. The video shows the woman dancing on a counter with a 17-year-old Riverview High School student next to her drinking what appears to be alcohol. A Riverview administrator turned that video over to the Sarasota County Sheriff's Office to investigate a possible relationship between 39-year-old Rowena Short and the student. The Sheriff's Office traced the party's location back to a Sarasota High School assistant principal's home. But sheriff's deputies did not find any substantial evidence of an inappropriate relationship or that a district employee supplied that student with alcohol. Deputies were also unable to determine if the assistant principal was at home at the time of that party.
Either the person who was throwing the party announced it to their network and maybe they were a part of that network. Secondarily, maybe they had a filter, so if they had a custom filter, and maybe if I'm scrolling through my filters, I see that there's something happening.
Short was in her 6-month probationary period when with the district when she was fired. The assistant principal has been reassigned and will not have any contact with students until the school district wraps up its investigation. We have an update on a shooting earlier this week in Sarasota. Sarasota County Sheriff's officials say a man who was shot Monday morning in the Beneva Woods neighborhood is now in stable condition and speaking with detectives. Investigators say those involved in the shooting knew each other, and they also are talking to neighbors in the area to find out more about what they know of the shooting. A popular waterfront spot on the Suncoast is about to expand. Plans are in the works now to extend the Riverwalk in Bradenton from Manatee Memorial Hospital east for about a mile. Although it's not known exactly what will be there or how it will look yet, city officials say it will be family friendly. Last night, a public meeting about the expansion was hosted by Realize Bradenton and Kimley Horn. The company awarded the contract for the project.
Kimley Horn will take everything from the survey, the community conversations, and reflect it in a conceptual plan in June, which will be reviewed and discussed by the neighborhood and the city at large.
This has become the crown jewel of Bradenton. We're building it around our most important asset, which is the Manatee River. And it's right on the biggest growing asset, which is downtown.
Another meeting on the Riverwalk expansion is scheduled for Thursday at 6 p.m. at Manatee United Methodist Church in Bradenton, and ground is expected to be broken on this project sometime next year. Still to come in your Suncoast News, feeling sick? Well, you might not have the flu. I'll tell you about a little-known virus that could be the culprit. And a second bomb from World War II found in less than a week. I'll tell you where, coming up.
About every 3 minutes in America, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Around the neighborhood or around town, you'll feel good and look even better driving your new Fiat. For maximum performance, check out the all-new Fiat Spider. You'll flip over the superior handling and capability. Or follow roads less traveled in the Fiat 500X. So go big or go small. With prices starting as low as $13,999, you're sure to find a Fiat that fits your style during the Start Something New event, going on now at Sunset Fiat of Sarasota.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
ABC 7, your official Florida lottery station for the Suncoast. Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So taking you through the afternoon, I think we're going to see some fine weather as we head into about 3 o'clock. 70 degrees our air temperature, lots of clear sky out there. 61 as we head into 7 p.m. and getting a little cooler as we head into the evening, but tapering off a little slower than we did 24 hours ago. We'll look at 56 rather by around midnight, and then as you wake up tomorrow morning, we'll be a cool, certainly cooler, but a little bit warmer than we were this morning when we hit in the mid 40s. Will be near the 50-degree mark this morning. Still below average for this time of year. 66 degrees the current air temperature. Dew point coming in at 45 and an east wind blustery at about 15. We'll have that breezy wind for the next few hours, then I think things will start to settle down just a little bit. Take you hour by hour through the afternoon. Cloud cover over on the other coast because of some scattered showers in the Atlantic. Those scattered showers producing that cloud cover with the easterly wind will bring some of that blow-off cloud our way a little bit later on today. No worries, though. I think all that will do will bring us even a nicer sunset tonight, framed by a very blue, deep sky. We'll have a few of these fair weather clouds reflecting the colors of the setting sun, and it should be very nice indeed. As I mentioned, the temperatures taper off and are cooler than average as we head into the nighttime hours, but I don't think we'll see anything in the way of any rainfall or fog forming. The air is still too dry for that. Some scattered showers perhaps over on the other coast coming in from that onshore wind flow there. But we stay dry right into tomorrow as well. Morning drive time should be fine. We're not going to stay dry, though, for the entire 7-day forecast. We do have a frontal boundary located just to our north by the time we get to Friday. That'll be just beginning to move into the panhandle. It'll take a couple of days for it to reach us, but by Sunday, I think that system will be on our doorstep. Tide and radar quiet right now across the entire state. Here's the long-range forecast that shows you what I mean. We get into Sunday and we start to see this system on our doorstep Sunday evening, at least in this computer model. Other computer models suggest that this arrival might be a little bit earlier in the day and maybe not have quite as much impact as this computer model implies. So I think it's fair to say that we have a decent chance at seeing some showers on Sunday, and we'll call it a first alert weather day. But I don't think the rainfall is going to be anywhere near as heavy as it was over the last weekend. Northeast wind at about 10 knots through the evening hours, maybe lightening up a little bit during the later afternoon. Choppy to a light chop with 2 to 3 foot seas. We have a 1:49 high tide, a low tide at 6:14, and another high tide at 11:51. Here's your forecast. We're looking at a breezy wind today with a daytime high of about 70. Chilly overnight, coming in at around the 50-degree mark. Thursday, we warm up a little bit to about 73, stay in the low 70s for several days in a row. And then on Sunday, we're going to cloud up a little bit. First alert weather day, 50% chance of showers, probably starting by mid-afternoon and lingering into the evening hours, and then clearing out early on Monday and keeping us not too terribly cold for the beginning of next work week. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. In Health Smart, listen to these symptoms: runny nose, cough, sore throat, fever. Sound familiar? Well, while the flu could be to blame, another virus may be making you sick. It's another family of viruses known as adenoviruses, which can also cause pink eye and diarrhea in children. Now, typically, the viruses are spread by coughing, sneezing, and direct contact, but you can also contract the viruses by touching items like door handles and light switches. If you do get sick, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says symptoms typically last about 10 days. And for most patients, home remedies and over-the-counter medicines to alleviate symptoms will be the only treatment necessary. Now let's head over to John Scalzi, who's with a special guest from Sarasota's Urbanite Theater. John?
That's right. Thank you, Scott. The Urbanite Theater, kind of known for its edgy black box theater, is opening its new play, and David Littleton, star actor, is here to join us. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate you being here. Tell us the name of the show and what it's about. It's very interesting.
So the name of the play is North Side Hollow, and the premise is a third-generation miner is...
Who you play.
I play, is stuck in a mine after a collapse, and a rescue worker is able to make it down, but then the shaft is further compromised, and so the two of them are stuck there together, underground, waiting for rescue.
Well, you get to know each other very well in those circumstances, I would think. A real pressure cooker.
Right.
How long are you down there in the play together?
So the play runs about 85 minutes, and I'm on stage the entire time, and it happens in real time. So we're down there for that period of time. It's unclear because he's a little disoriented how long since the blast, whether it's been 2 days or a day, but he's been down there a while.
And I get the feeling that lots of things are discovered about life and philosophies.
Because it's such a kind of intense situation, to kind of alleviate the stress, there's some humor, but they also talk about some pretty meaningful, serious issues.
And I heard it's a funny show.
It is funny. I mean, there's a kind of, the two of them are so different, you know, in terms of faith and age and values. And so there's some funny conflict in terms of that, but also you get to see two very different sides of all these issues, faith and just how these two different men live their lives.
I know the Urban Night Theater always produces great stuff. I also know they sell out, so if you want to see the show, get on there and order your tickets now. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate it, David.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations on a very well-received show.
Thanks so much.
It's fantastic. Let's check in with Judy in the kitchen, see what's going on over there. Judy, it smells awful good.
Well, we're going to have a little Super Bowl fun today. I have an easy recipe for macaroni and cheese, and you don't even have to pre-cook the macaroni. But here's the big deal. We're going to make it just like a football field. One team, the New England Patriots, are getting Maine lobsters, and the other side I'm doing Philly cheesesteak on top. And I'm really excited because 5-0 Donuts came through for both the Eagles and the New England Patriots. So we'll cheer everybody on and hopefully really good commercials. And we'll get started in just a few minutes. And this will be a really fun dish for you to have at your next Super Bowl party, which will be here before you know it.
Being the caregiver for someone you love is truly a blessing. But sometimes you can lose a part of yourself. To be your best, for them and for you, it's important to have time to be able to recharge your batteries. When you call Tidewell Hospice, they can give you a chance to do just that, and with the peace of mind of knowing your loved one is in the very best hands. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
Start the year off with big savings during the Start Something New event at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Get a brand new Jeep Renegade for as little as $15,999. Find the path to your next great adventure in the all-new Jeep Compass for just $18,999. Or be one of the first to drive away in a 2018 Jeep Cherokee for as little as $19,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 70.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
ABC 7 is the most watched, most trusted news source on the Suncoast, and we owe it all to you, our loyal viewers. Thank you for making us #1.
World War II-era bomb has been discovered in Hong Kong. The latest explosive was found at a construction site. The find prompted police to close several roads and shut down area businesses. Experts say the bomb is similar to a large explosive that was found and diffused in that same area Sunday. The U.S. Army Air Corps dropped numerous bombs on what was then Japan-occupied Hong Kong during World War II. Here in Florida, a problem you don't see every day. The city of Naples is working with the Coast Guard and the DEP to remove 2 barges that became stuck on a beach. The first barge was on its way from Marco Island to Doctors Pass for a construction project, but the waves were high at the time and it got stuck, so they brought in another barge to try to help, and it became stuck too. The DEP says, though, there is no threat of any pollutant leaking there. Let's get back to the kitchen as we get ready for Super Bowl Sunday with ABC 7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher.
That's right, Scott. So I already started the onions and peppers for the cheesesteak. Now, really quick tip, if you're gonna be cutting your own steak, what I do is I can just get really thin cut steaks, put the whole packet in the freezer for 1 hour. Then you'll be able to cut the steak shaved really nice and thin. That works for if you're cutting flank steak for Chinese style wok stirring, but it's a great cooking tip to remember. 1 hour in the freezer will get it firm enough to make it really easy to cut. Let's get over to the blender. So this is a recipe that I originally found from the New York Times, which I really love their recipes. I adapted it slightly, so this will be a lot of fun. We're gonna take 4 cups of whole milk, because I'm gonna make sure I make a big enough batch to feed, you know, a big pan. This is pretty rich, so it's gonna feed a good 12 people. So we're doing two cups of full-fat cottage cheese to 4 cups of whole milk. Now we're gonna take in the shredded Vermont cheddar cheese. So the Patriots may start out with the lead because they're gonna have more of their cheese in it. And then we'll get some shredded provolone. Now, to that, we're going to add a little cayenne pepper and just about a half a teaspoon of ground mustard, salt and pepper. And remember, cheese has the salt effect in it, so you don't want to over season. You can always go back. Okay, gonna get a little louder to get that on. We're gonna blend this together so it really makes this really good cheese sauce. And then what I'm gonna do when we come back is we're gonna take a pound of uncooked macaroni. We're gonna stir it all together, layer it up. One side provolone for Philly and one side with Vermont cheddar, and then we got the toppings. I'll be back in a few minutes to cook some more.
I took my first handful of pills, and that's when all my priorities seemed to change.
He would ask to use the bathroom in other people's homes.
He just assumed that they would have medication.
He'd go in their medicine cabinets and steal prescription drugs.
I wish I knew really what these prescription pills were.
We were so naive about the whole drug thing.
These are all synthetic forms of heroin.
Keep your medication locked up because you'll never notice that a pill is gone.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
I'm Deshauna Barber. In 2016, I was proud to win the title of Miss USA. What makes me just as proud is my service in the U.S. military. In the service, a soldier gains skills and learns values like discipline and leadership. That makes them an asset to any business that hires them. If you're an employer, on behalf of Coalition to Salute America's Heroes, remember to hire smart and bet on a vet. Visit saluteheroes.org or call this number to learn more.
Once you get atrial fibrillation, you need to have a very close relationship with your primary doctor. Prevention is the whole ball game here, because once you have a stroke, you can't undo it. A year without stroke, it's a year that you can enjoy doing the things that you've worked all your life to finally get to do. You took care of yourself. You did what is necessary for you to be around one more year. And then next year, we'll celebrate one more year without a stroke.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7.
Puerto Ricans tend to lean Democratic, so I think Democrats are really excited potentially about this influx of voters that, could lean in their favor.
After Hurricane Maria tore through Puerto Rico, tens of thousands of residents moved to Florida. How will all those new registered voters influence future elections? I'm Alan Cohn. We'll discuss at our Island Trapezoid.
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Coming up, why a classified memo is creating a lot of buzz around the Capitol Hill and the Russia investigation. Plus, former Dr. Larry Nassar back in court now to face more molestation charges. Why a group of Florida lawmakers are looking to make a splash in the state's gambling legislation.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. I'm Scott Dennis. New developments in the Russia investigation. President Trump caught on a hot mic speaking about that classified GOP memo targeting the FBI. And now we've learned special counsel Robert Mueller is seeking an interview with a former member of the president's legal team. ABC's Pierre Thomas has the latest from Washington.
ABC News learning that the FBI director and deputy attorney general were both at the White House pleading with the White House Chief of Staff John Kelly to prevent the release of the Republican House Intelligence Report before they had a chance to make sure it does not compromise classified information. Those pleas apparently ignored as the president's mind appeared made up at the State of the Union.
Let's release the memo. Oh, yeah, don't worry. 100%.
But for now, the memo still waiting to be reviewed by White House lawyers as new evidence emerges that the special counsel continues to aggressively look into possible obstruction of justice.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Corallo.
Sources tell ABC News the special counsel's office in recent days has contacted the former spokesman for the Trump legal team, Mark Corallo, apparently wanting to know why he quit after only 3 months. Corallo left, sources say, in part because he was concerned that some in President Trump's camp were looking to unearth negative information about Bob Mueller, and Mueller's apparently interested in explosive accusations in Michael Wolff's new book, which portrays Corallo as concerned about the president's role in helping write a misleading statement aboard Air Force One about the nature of that infamous Trump Tower meeting between campaign officials and a group of Russians. Wolff, writing Corallo seeing no good outcome, believed the meeting on Air Force One represented a likely obstruction of justice.
In retrospect, I probably would have done things a little differently.
The president's son, Don Jr., initially said the Trump Tower meeting was about Russian adoptions, but the meeting was actually set up for the Trump campaign to receive dirt on Hillary Clinton, dirt allegedly developed by Vladimir Putin.
Into our newsroom, a train carrying members of Congress, including House Speaker Paul Ryan, hit a semi-truck earlier this morning near Crozet, Virginia. A congressman on the train telling CNN most of the staff and members on the train are fine. The injuries are not serious. It's unclear how many members of Congress were on that train, but it was reportedly headed to a GOP retreat. We'll have much more on this story as it develops throughout the day here on ABC 7. New at noon, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is looking for a new leader. CDC Director Dr. Brenda Fitzgerald resigning from her position this morning, just 6 months after being selected for the post. In a statement, the Department of Health and Human Services blamed what it called her complex financial interest for Fitzgerald's decision. The move comes one day after Politico reported that Fitzgerald bought tobacco stock after becoming CDC Director. An update now out of Michigan as Larry Nassar will be confronted again by scores of victims as he faces another prison sentencing for molesting gymnasts, this time at an elite Michigan club run by an Olympic coach. The former doctor has been accused of sexually assaulting more than 150 women and girls and was sentenced to up to 175 years in prison just last week. Nassar pleaded guilty to 3 more criminal sexual conduct charges, and this new sentencing period is expected to continue possibly into next week. The judge saying this morning 265 people have now come forward to say they were victims of Nassar. More than 50 people are expected to give victim impact statements throughout these proceedings. An Arizona man claims he once sold ammunition to Las Vegas gunman Stephen Paddock. Douglas Haig says that he sold more than 700 rounds of ammunition to Paddock, but had no connection to the man and had no idea what he was planning. Paddock killed 58 people in October mass shooting. Paddock apparently took his own life as police were swarming around his hotel room. A Virginia Tech student is behind bars charged with illegally possessing an assault rifle. The 19-year-old is being held without bail. Details from his arrest warrant states in addition to having the assault rifle, the student tried to buy 5,000 rounds of ammo and had been researching bulletproof vests and bought a former police vehicle that still bears some police markings, which he outfitted with a special bumper. Last year marked the 10th anniversary of the Virginia Tech mass shooting incident, which claimed nearly 36 lives. In California, 3 people are dead and 2 are in the hospital after a helicopter crashes into a home. The chopper struck the yard and wall of a house, and then a piece of the tail rotor was lodged in the roof of a home across the street, just a block from Newport Beach. The helicopter normally seats 4 people, and police say the 5th person involved was on the ground and struck by debris. NTSB and FAA officials are now investigating the cause of that crash. And here's a service animal that's ruffling some feathers. A woman recently tried to bring a peacock on board a United Airlines flight at Newark's Liberty International Airport. She claimed she had a right to bring it with her as her emotional support animal, and even offered to pay for a second seat for the oversized bird. But the airline told the woman the bird did not meet its guidelines for an emotional support animal, which includes its weight and size. You never know anymore, John?
You don't. I know there are all. I read an article the other day about these emotional support issues and emotional support animals, and there was an emotional support duck on the plane.
I believe it.
This author referenced.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have across our region some pleasant conditions out there. Again, Scott, I tell you, we're on a roll here in terms of beautiful blue skies. This morning, if you weren't looking at the moon, then you were probably looking in the opposite direction. The Lakewood Ranch webcam shows just a beautiful sunrise with pretty blue skies and not much in the way of any kind of cloud cover around. Kept us pretty nice for viewing of the lunar eclipse, or at least our partial lunar eclipse this morning. We have 66 degrees right now in Sarasota, 63 degrees in Bradenton, Parrish coming in at 63, Lakewood Ranch comes in at 63 degrees as well, and the same thing in Venice. So you get the idea. Temperatures are generally speaking running a little below average, but about where we were yesterday. We'll top it out at about 70 degrees for a daytime high. And then as we head into the evening period, we'll probably cool off a little bit slower because our dew points are starting to rise just a little bit. We'll have that complete forecast for you coming up in just a few. Scott.
Thank you, John. Happening in Florida, top state Republicans are taking another stab at passing a major gambling bill. A House panel voting for a bill that calls for a 20-year deal between the state and the Seminole Tribe of Florida. The agreement calls for the tribe to pay the state $3 billion over the next 7 years. In return, it would allow tribal casinos to keep their blackjack tables. The bill is also expected to ease Florida's budget problems. Similar efforts in the past have failed. The Tampa Bay Rays breaking ties with its team doctor. This comes after a video surfaced of a woman alleging inappropriate behavior by Dr. Michael Riley more than a decade ago. Riley was initially suspended after the video was published on January 17th. The team also informed St. Petersburg police of the allegations. Riley has been the Rays doctor since the team formed 20 years ago. He also served as the Lightning's team doctor for 10 years.
His lips are purple. His body's extremely stiff, and I can't wake him up, and I honestly don't feel a pulse.
A chilling 911 call from the day FSU pledge Andrew Coffey was found dead at an off-campus fraternity party in November. The caller explained there was a party and that his friend was passed out on the couch. It becomes clear Coffey was not waking up. A dispatcher is heard guiding the caller through chest compressions as paramedics are sent to the home. That goes on for at least 5 minutes. There seems to be more than one person on the line at one point as they try to revive Coffey.
Let me know when you've done that, okay?
Dude. Oh, God.
Are you able to get him to the ground?
Yeah, he's on the ground.
Okay, and he's flat?
I'm sorry?
He's flat on the ground?
His body's really stiff. I'm not able to get his arm, on the ground.
9 fraternity brothers will be in court next week facing felony hazing charges in Coffey's death. An update now on the woman's body found last week in a Longboat Key sauna. Police are now saying the 54-year-old did not die a natural death, but they have yet to say what happened to her. Her body was found inside a sauna at or near the Longboat Key Club's Islandside facility. Forensic experts are now meeting with the sheriff's office to determine a cause of death. The new Whole Foods on University Parkway is now open for business after eager shoppers lined up for hours outside of the store. Hundreds of customers waited to get their chance to see the new store, which features its own chef-run restaurant and exclusive beer and wine list. Whole Foods says this new location will offer an alternative to customers who don't want to drive all the way to the downtown Sarasota location.
A lot of our Lakewood Ranch residents in that community is going to be coming to this store, so that way they don't have to drive all the way downtown.
I'm excited. I mean, I've been waiting for them to come, and here they are, and I wanted to be part of the fun.
The organic foods, just the friendliness. Everybody's always smiling and so friendly to you. It's just wonderful to come to Whole Foods.
The new store, one of the first to open under Amazon's ownership, which promised lower prices on popular grocery items. We have a lot of choices now here on the Suncoast, that's for sure. Let's get back to the kitchen now. Check in again with ABC 7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher, who has some delicious treats for the big game on Sunday.
That's right. We're going with both teams. So first with the macaroni and cheese. I took the cottage cheese and the milk, a little powdered mustard, cayenne, salt and pepper. That got blended up, okay, in the Vitamix. Then I poured in a pound for a double batch. You're going to pour in a pound of elbow macaroni uncooked, which is I love about this recipe, okay? So then we'll give it a good stir to make sure it's all nice and smooth. This is what makes it so creamy. I just love that. Then we're going to take our sides. Let's do Philly cheese over here, and I have 2 types of provolone. And then we will do the Vermont sharp cheddar, slight edge, as I said. I did debate whether I'd put Cheese Whiz down the middle for those Philly fans that like the Cheese Whiz, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is cover the pan. It's going to go in a 350-degree oven for a half an hour. Then after that, you're going to take the foil off. You're going to dot it with butter, a little bit more cheese, and it's going to go back in for about another 20 to 30 minutes until it's just really bubbly and brown and yummy. And now is the real fun part. So, lots of lobster down at South Tamiami Trail brought me over 3 steamed lobsters. They probably sell the most lobsters in town by far. We use them all the time on New Year's Eve. They even make their own New England clam chowder. So all you Patriot fans, lots of lobster, remember that. And they're taking their orders now. So what I do is I just kind of put the lobster on top, and you can have those steamed and just ready to go on that. And then we'll do the Philly cheesesteak side for our Philadelphia fans, and we'll put that right over there. And I was sad to see, Gentili Brothers, it's really authentic. They're not open on Sundays, so you can either buy them without the bread or beforehand or make it. But look how easy this was. So I think we have a winning recipe. When we come back, we'll wrap it up with a taste, and we'll talk a little bit more about the dessert style.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
You don't want to miss the annual Venice Orchid Show and Sale February 3rd and 4th at the Venice Community Center. It is the largest orchid show on Florida's West Coast with thousands of blooming orchids on display and for sale. You'll also find orchid growing supplies, artwork, jewelry, accessories, and free classes. Make plans now to attend the Venice Orchid Show and Sale February 3rd and 4th at the Venice Community Center. Go to vaos.org online for more details.
Choral Artists of Sarasota presents Carmina Burana in Motion. Carl Orff's choral masterpiece, Carmina Burana, bursts into life in this lavish production designed for 60 voices, 3 celebrated soloists, a 2-piano percussion ensemble, and dynamic premiere choreography performed by members of Sarasota Contemporary Dance. Do not miss this lush feast of the senses. Saturday, February 3rd, 4 p.m. at Church of the Palms in Sarasota. Tickets and info are at choralartistsarasota.org or by calling 941-387-4900.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
Don't miss Suncoast Canines, Thursday on ABC 7 News at 6.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So we'll see temperatures climb to about 70 degrees by 3 o'clock this afternoon. That's pretty nice, about where we should be for this time of year. We'll call it a warming trend, though we're still cooler than average for this time of year. But I do think that our nighttime low is going to be a little bit warmer than it was this morning, so that qualifies as a warming trend. And as we head into the next several days, that warming trend will carry on, and we'll find temperatures that'll be in the low 70s each and every day until we get till Sunday. 56 degrees by midnight, and then when you wake up tomorrow morning, temperature hovering around 50 degrees, about, anywhere from 5 to 8 degrees warmer than it was 24 hours ago. 66 the air temperature. Dew point value has risen. That's one of the reasons that we're getting this little bit of a warming trend. Easterly wind flow, breezy at 15, continues to transport that moisture from the other coast. Taking it hour by hour through the afternoon till about 7 o'clock tonight, and you can see the temperatures are continuing to fall into the 60s. Sky cover occasionally. We'll get some cloud cover around, blowing in from an easterly wind from the other coastline. And then as we head into tomorrow morning, I think there'll be plenty of sunshine around, and temperatures in the afternoon solidly in the 70s. So it's going to be a nice couple of days, I do believe. Radar absolutely quiet across the entire peninsula. Not looking at anything here that would suggest in any way rain showers for us, while the other coast, however, may get an isolated shower or two. These are our temperature trends over the next couple of days, over the next 7 days actually. And from temperature trends, you can sometimes get a better feel for how the atmosphere is going to respond as opposed to looking at high temperatures. These low temperatures are obviously going to start increasing with this warming trend up to about 63 as we head into Sunday, when we get a little bit of cloud cover around. The little dip that we see here Sunday into Monday is a frontal, but won't be anywhere near as significant or powerful as the last front that came through. So a northeast wind this afternoon, a little bit breezy, coming in at about 10 knots. I think we'll start to see the wind speed slacken just a little bit as we head into the afternoon. 2 to 3 foot seas, choppy conditions falling to a light chop as we head into the second half of the afternoon. I think water temperature is still kind of cool, coming in at about 60. Forecast calls for about a 70 for a daytime high, overnight low coming in around 50, and then tomorrow 73 will go with the daytime high. Same thing on Friday and Saturday, nice conditions. Increasing humidity though each and every one of those days. As we head into Sunday, we'll have about a 50% chance of showers. We'll call it a first alert weather day. Timing of the storms still being refined, still a little bit in question. Total amounts probably in the vicinity of under ½ an inch, probably closer to a ¼ inch with some of these rain showers. A little bit of extra cloud cover, but even as the front comes through, it really doesn't drop our temperature all that much, just a few degrees. Clears out pretty early, I think, on the day on Monday, and leaves us with a pretty nice day on Tuesday with a temperature of about 74, lower relative humidity, and shouldn't be terribly cold at night either. Scott?
Thank you, John. In consumer news now, the stock market is rebounding today after 2 tough days of trading down to start the week. The Dow was down nearly 400 points yesterday after anticipation that the Federal Reserve will start raising rates again. Healthcare stocks also were lower after news of Amazon, JP Morgan, Berkshire Hathaway entering the healthcare world. Economists predict stocks will push back to the positive by the end of this week, and again, they are up at last check today. Plus, Apple is getting sliced with questions from government officials. The focus of the inquiries, the software update that made older iPhones much slower than usual. The tech giant says the update was not done to intentionally shorten the life of products made before the iPhone 8 and 10. The Security and Exchange Commission and the Department of Justice are also collecting information from Apple. Facebook is banning ads for cryptocurrencies to help crack down on scammers, including ads for payment systems like Bitcoin. Facebook said in a blog post that promotions for those kind of products may be deceptive and threaten security. The new policy will be enforced on Instagram as well. Still to come in your Suncoast News, we'll show you one man's cave that's getting quite a bit of buzz ahead of Sunday's big game. That story coming up.
Motor Trend said the new Alfa Romeo Giulia is hands down the best sports sedan you can buy today, and named it the 2018 Motor Trend Car of the Year. Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Coast Guard, we are taking on water.
The United States Coast Guard. They secure our ports and waterways, protect our environment, keep drugs away from our kids, and save lives. It's dangerous work. And in times of triumph or tragedy, the Coast Guard Foundation answers the call to support Coast Guard members and their families. Learn more at coastguardfoundation.org.
Join ABC7 at the all-new 2018 edition of Circus Sarasota. Ovation under the big top at Nathan Benderson Park behind the mall at UTC. Friday, February 9th through Sunday, March 4th. All opening weekend tickets are 20% off, courtesy of ABC7. To purchase your discount tickets, visit circusarts.org, the Circus Sarasota box office at the big top, or call 941-355-9805.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
It's me, Artie. Come see what I collected from the Creative Galaxy in my idea box.
Transform your world.
Will you help me make art?
Each one of our journeys keeps us young. Before you throw it away,
Hey, I have an idea.
think outside the box.
We'll never get older. Each one Go be amazing!
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Here's today's job of the day. ABC7 is seeking an account executive to join our winning sales team. This is an outside sales position covering the Tampa DMA. Visit mysuncoast.com/job of the day to apply. ABC7, your official Florida lottery station for the Suncoast.
When evaluating the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, Car and Driver magazine said every crossover should be this good to drive. We agree. Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
It's macaroni and cheese fan or Philadelphia
I am both.
Fan.
I'm sitting on the 50-yard line on this one.
There you go. You'll
Yeah.
just eat it while Justin Timberlake
That's delicious. Both of them.
enjoys. Thanks. Really easy recipe, actually, for the macaroni and cheese, and you'll find it on www.mysuncoast.com. Just click on recipes and go to that dining page and sign up for our contests and local events. But I also have to mention, you know, they have great New England clam chowder, homemade from lots of lobster.
It's a good place.
And a big shout out to Christine Nordstrom's at 50 Donuts. Boston cream donuts with, of course, our colors, red, white, and blue for the New England Patriots. And apparently Tasty Cakes, which come from Philadelphia, which I never knew. She went to like 19 stores to get them for her donuts. So order your Philly donuts or your New England donuts. And John?
It's a good foodie day. Scott?
Thank you both. In entertainment news now, the radio DJ found guilty of groping singer Taylor Swift has landed a new job. David Muller will co-host a morning show at a Mississippi radio station. Swift accused him of grabbing her butt during a backstage meet and greet back in 2013. Muller sued Swift in 2015 for $3 million, claiming the accusations were false and cost him his Denver radio job. Swift then countersued him for assault and battery, which he was forced to pay Swift $1, a symbolic amount chosen by the singer. The DJ continues to deny groping Swift. Diane Keaton is voicing her support for director Woody Allen. The actress took to Twitter Monday to send a message of support to her frequent collaborator. She tweeted in part, quote, "Woody Allen is my friend and I continue to believe him. Allen has been accused of child molestation by his daughter. The allegation first surfaced in 1992 during a bitter custody battle between Allen and his ex-partner Mia Farrow. He has denied them and no charges were ever filed after extensive law enforcement investigations." Finally this hour, one man is making a case for being the ultimate football fan. Barry Vagnoni roots for the Philadelphia Eagles, as you can see, and he has built a shrine to the Birds. He did this 13 years ago using money that was originally supposed to be used to build Barry and his wife a winter retirement home in Florida. Come Super Bowl Sunday, all 16 of high-def televisions will be blaring, including the ones in the bathrooms. Nearly 200 of Barry's closest friends and family are expected to pack his locker room.
Well, that's funny.
Isn't that something?
That is funny.
I wonder how his wife feels about that.
I was just thinking that. That wouldn't go in my house.
Yeah.
One little man cave, that's it.
Party people turn pro on Super Bowl Sunday, don't they?
That's true.
Have a great day ahead. We'll see you again at 5.
Why settle for less? Get more for your money at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's 2017 most trusted brand, best overall brand, and lowest 5-year cost to own. And Subaru Forester is an IIHS top safety pick for 12 years running. Now lease the most award-winning small SUV, a new Subaru Forester, for just $219 a month. Or get 0% financing with complimentary maintenance included. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
My name is Stephen Jaffe. The law firm's name is Farmer Jaffe. One of the beautiful things about Julius is he's always smiling, and it becomes infectious. The fact that Julius has a disability has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work that he's done. Just a great person you want on your staff.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.